Yo! Whiskey Sick Podcast, episode number 153. All up in your ass. Hit him with that theme music.
So I gotta walk, got the chalk, got the draw. Outlines for these ladies, I'm about to slay. Got my cake bomb with some napalm. Shots of days gone, then the game's on. What you play, huh? Hard to get. I'll be wet for all that dry hate. Looking my way while your eyes say you and I may get off like a right lane, but I might strain. Pull up lane with a migraine.
What the fuck is up, homies? I'm going back to back on that ass Seth Gecko, aka Moody Hank. I'm here rocking with the future quadruple champ, Moody Hank, the Whiskey Sick Podcast mascot German Shepherd extraordinaire. She's rocking. She's executive producing the show today. Welcome to episode number 2 on podcast. On YouTube. I'm Blaydes. You already know how I be. This episode, I should get the sponsors out of the way. This episode is brought to you by Gorilla Glue. Sativa Gorilla Glue. The Sativa strain. Your homie is baked like ziti, baked like cupcakes, baked like Betty Crocker. I'm fucking stoned up Willie. Stoned like a lady in the Middle East, you know what I mean? Anyway, let me move right on. I've been here for a minute. Don't think this is just the second episode of the podcast. I've been here for 100, and this is the 153rd episode of the Whiskey Sick Podcast. Been slapping you since 2017. We've been here. I finally got an iPhone. I came coming on up. I came up from the east side and got myself an iPhone 13. Got myself an iPhone 13. It changed the whole fucking game. My computer is old as shit, so I couldn't record with my computer because it's like from 2010. Like I can't even upgrade it anymore. The shit's so old, and I probably just barely paid this off. You know, I had it on the fucking $10 a month payment plan at Best Buy. On the 12-year fucking payment plan, I finally paid it off. So it you know, I'm not ready to get a new one. I just paid the motherfucker off. Now I'm gonna get into a new commitment. So the iPhone, the trials and tribulations I went through. I watch YouTube videos all day. I watch, Fight Podcast, Florian, Anik and Florian Podcast. If you don't watch that shit, by the way, and you're into MMA, other than this show, slapping you upside the head with some MMA shit, that's the best fucking podcast for MMA. Josh Thompson and, what's their one called? Josh Thompson and, Big John McCarthy have a dope ass podcast too. I watch that shit too. I watch book reviews, as you can see. A homie reads. Stephen King right here. This isn't even close to the Stephen King homies. Maybe one day I'll get into the book shit, because I've not only do I have, but I've read every single Stephen King ever written. I all 70 something of them. I've read them all. Got the classics. We got Dune up here. Read all the Dunes. I'm not new to this Dune shit. The Bene Gesserit, the Atreides. True story. I tried to name the triple champ, the quadruple champ, Atreides. For better or for worse, the homie was trying to talk his old lady into naming our firstborn Atreides. I thought it was a dope ass name, but she didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. She didn't know. She couldn't pronounce it. She was acting like She couldn't pronounce Atreides. She didn't know Paul Atreides, the fucking Atreides. Shai Hulud, the sandworms, the spice motherfucking melange. She didn't know none of that. So I actually got her to read Dune last summer because the movie was coming out. And I told her, listen, you gotta read this shit. And it's not an easy read. You never read anything like Dune. This is one of the smartest fucking books. This shit'll blow your goddamn mind. You're like, this dude is just smart. Frank Herbert. This dude's just, well, he's no longer here, unfortunately. But I've read all 6 of the books that he wrote. So I got the old lady to watch that shit. To read the book, and she loved it. It's like one of her favorite things ever. So when it came down to the movie that came out just recently, shit was dope. Fire. One of the best movies I've seen. I'm not a movie dude, so I don't watch a ton of movies and shit like that. But this shit, you ask me, what's your favorite movie, Gecko? 8 Mile. Is what it is. You ain't gonna get no fucking, I don't know, some artsy shit. You ain't getting Godfather or whatever the fuck. Then probably Saving Private Ryan, and then probably fucking Dune. So maybe I'll get into all that. I don't know where the fuck I was going with any of that. Did I give the sponsorship? Today's sponsor, the episode is sponsored by Gorilla Glue, a nice sativa, old school OG, been around for a while, strain that's been around for a long time. Everybody smoked Gorilla Glue, oldie and a goodie. Got my hands on. I had leftovers actually, so I found. Y'all ever find a little your little bud containers? You know, I just kind of toss them around. I never really throw them away. I just have them everywhere. These empty containers. Every once in a while, you find one, and there's a little motherfucking nug left in there, and it's like fucking Christmas. It's like the greatest day ever. I found a fucking nug of Gorilla Glue. Now this shit's probably like 6 months old. I don't give a fuck. I'm Blaydes. You see me, bake like ZD. I don't know where the fuck I. Oh yeah, the trials and tribulations. So I got a massive respect for everybody who YouTubes, who puts videos up on here, because it was a motherfucking fight, homies. It was a goddamn struggle. This was a 5-round, a drag out, knockout fucking scrap for me to get this the first fucking episode on YouTube. I mean, I had to upload this shit. It took me 24 hours to down. I kept uploading this thing, and then at processing, it would get to processing. It would take 3-4 hours. So the first 2 times, let me get really into this shit. The first 2 times, I just tried to upload the motherfucker, right? And it took 4 hours each time. One was like 3.5 hours, one was like 4 hours. And then it finally uploaded, and it would get to the processing, and it would stay stuck on 0% for hours. The second time, I let it go for 4 hours. So I fucking erased it, and I would start over, erase it, and then I learned, hey, maybe I should compress it, because this is 4K all up in your motherfucking ass. If I got up in there you want me to get up in there, you want the real experience. You see the nose hairs, you see all the kind of grimy shit I got going on. So it's a big ass video to upload. So I thought maybe I should learn how to compress it or something. Maybe there's something going on. I could think a little bit. Sure enough, I compressed it to half the size. Got a little compressor app, compressed that shit, uploaded it in half the time, but it sat on processing again. Processing 0% all fucking day. Hit up the homie, has a podcast, crypto podcast. What up, Rodney? Probably get him up on. He's gonna be on here. You're gonna see Rodney. You're gonna see his. He's got a dope crypto. Fuck, I wish I knew the name of it. I'd hit you. I'm sorry, Rodney. I'll know it for the next one, because I watch your videos. Saitama and all this shit. I don't know what the fuck. You guys are way out there on this fucking. These dudes are wild on this crypto. You watch crypto YouTube? These motherfuckers are wild. So I hit him up. He said, you just gotta leave it on processing, because every once in a while it goes from 0 to 95 to done in like a blink out of nowhere. And sure enough, like the 5th time I tried to upload this shit, it was on 0 for like an hour and a half, and then the next thing I looked over and it was loaded. And then I had to try to put this shit, because this shit is also, I extract the audio. I figured out how to extract the audio on my iPhone, YouTube videos, and then I extracted the audio. And now it took me forever. It took me, it was already after the fight, so the picks were already in, the results were already in. But I finally got the podcast up, audio only, extracted the audio from the video, put that shit up. So now I had the cast and the video. So I think I got all the motherfucking bumps ironed out this week. I'm hoping. I'm sure I'll run into some new shit, but I think I figured it all out. Ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow. It's Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy. Oh, I get it. You're Biggie and he's Puffy. Oh. Alright, or something like that. Let's get into this shit. What do we got today? We got fight talk. Lots of fight talk. Picks last week. Don't know what the fuck I was doing picking Volkov. Very disappointed in myself for that pick. No idea why I picked Volkov. Still went 7-5. Got off to a rough start and then ran it. I was 4-0 on the main card, or 5-0 on the main card, and then I lost the main event. So I was 5-1 on the main card, but I was like 2-4 on the undercards. Overall, so far on the cards, I was 34. So now I'm like 39 and I'm 69 and 39. I don't know what the fuck. I'm 32 fights over 500 since the first card in January. So we fully keeping track here. So I went 7-5 on this card. We'll get into that. Got some NFL shit. Jorge and Colby getting into scrizzy scraps. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. You got this swimmer, lady. You got her over here causing a ruckus. You got Zion making some news yesterday. He's having dunk contests, but somehow can't play a single fucking game this year for my Pelicans. And then we got a fight card this week. We got one, and then we have a week off next week. But we got, what do we got? I already did Daukaus last week. Listen, I'm going to do another, because last week, remember, I was so stoned. I broke down Daukaus versus Blaydes, and then realized they weren't even fighting last week. And so I'm going to break it down again a little bit here. I'll be quicker this time. But I think I'm changing my pick. I picked Blaydes last week, and now I've been marinating on it for a little while. I'm just, do you trust Curtis Blaydes? I don't know. So we can get into that shit. Colby and Jorge. We can start there, ease our way into this fight talk shit. Supposedly they got into a scrap a couple nights ago at a, actually it doesn't even sound like a scrap. Run up sucker punching. That's not a scrap. So apparently Jorge showed up at a restaurant or something where Colby was eating, and I guess when Colby was leaving, Jorge ran up on him. I read something yesterday from somebody, I don't even know where. Could be complete fake news, you know what I mean? But it said that Jorge had a mask and a hoodie on. I don't know what kind of mask, like a face mask, like a COVID mask maybe, and a hoodie on, or a hood. I don't know. And then he just ran up on him and like socked him up. Started saying, "Hey, dude, don't talk about my family. This is what happened to it when you talk about my family," or something. I think what this came back on is that Colby called Jorge a deadbeat dad. I couldn't find anything else that's where he said anything about Jorge's kids or anything like that, because that's you catching whoopings. You got to throw hands. If a man is talking about your kids, it doesn't matter if it's Francis Ngannou, to save face, you at least got to throw him, blap him once and run. You got to sucker punch him. I get it. If you're at that kind of, the only time you can sucker punch is when you're at that kind of a size disadvantage. It's up. Francis Ngannou's talking shit about your kids. You got to say, look over there and fucking bop and get the fuck out of here. And then run. You got to do something like that. I get it. Desperate times call for desperate ass measures. But Colby, Jorge, you just fought this dude. You had 25 minutes to get these fucking shots in. And the stand-up was mostly Colby for that fight. There was the one check, like left hook, that Jorge, stumbled Colby with. That was like it. That was all he did. That was really all he did. He never let his hands go. He didn't look like he was in good shape. Got me thinking, because I saw some people like calling this a street fight and shit. First of all, it's not a fucking street fight. This is a street fight. But they were comparing it to like, Jorge's a better street fighter than a UFC fighter and all this, and they were calling his early fights. I was seeing this on Twitter. The backyard shit, street fights. Those aren't really street fights. Those are just, those have rules. You're still agreeing to a set of terms, a set of rules in that kind of setting where Jorge was fighting homie when he had the long hair, and he was fighting that other dude in the backyard. I think they fought twice. But though, that's more of a control. Just because you're in somebody's backyard, it's not really a street fight. It's not anything goes. It's not like play for keeps street fight. They stop the fights. They get them back to their feet. There's gentleman rules in that. You in a street fight, there's no fucking, you bite a motherfucker's nuts off if you got to. If it comes down to that, you gotta bite nuts. You gotta oil check the booty hole. You gotta do whatever the fuck you gotta do to get out of there. You gotta fist the booty hole. Whatever the fuck you gotta do, you gotta do it. So those weren't street fights, first of all. So this would be a true street fight. Jorge could be like the greatest street fighter of all time and a mediocre UFC fighter, because there's a huge difference. Rules, number one. Street fights are more primal, more savage. You could be super. You could have the animosity of McGregor versus Khabib, right? Those two hated each other. You could have that kind of animosity, and it's not nearly as primal or as savage as a street fight, because there's so much control. There's control around you. It's not chaos. It's not it's controlled violence. There's still rules. There's still things you can and can't do. So it's a little different, and you know that no matter what, chances are you're gonna walk out of it. You eat a nasty fucking. You eat a sucker punch, you get clipped in a street fight and hit that concrete. You might not. You get slept like that. You might not wake up. You know what I mean? And Jorge prefers a street fight. Like in the Leon Edwards situation, because it's a sprint. A street fight is a sprint. You know that. It's only a matter of seconds before somebody breaks that shit up. It's rare that a street fight's gonna go, even a minute. So it's just a sprint to the finish line. And the first person, Tupac shit, first the bomb. First the bomb is usually going to win. Be first, be often. That's how you want. Fuck Dust, Dale Brown, whatever his name is, with the Detroit urban survival tactics, whatever. You want street fight survival, be first, be often. That's it. Throw hands and don't stop throwing hands till they look like fucking Luana Carolina did after that spinning back Mccann spinning back elbow. Don't stop. The person who gets off first, I guarantee, is most often going to win in a street fight. And it's only a matter of time till it gets broken up. So you can empty the gas tank right away. You don't have to worry about another round. You don't have to worry about a second minute. So in that sense, street fighting is right up Jorge Masvidal. If there was literally we were just setting up like UFC scraps, but in street fighting scenarios, he'd probably be the champion. If he got Usman at a fucking Exxon Mobil, while they're filling up their gas tanks or some shit like that, he might beat him. Catch Chimaev at the Chuck E. Cheese or some shit like that. You never know. Playing skeet ball or some shit, and they just throw down right there. He might get him a Chimaev scalp in a situation like that. But if the sucker punching shit is true, I love Jorge Masvidal. First of all, I go back in this shit. I go back in this fight shit. I've been a fan. What's unique about the UFC and MMA in general, for me, is that I've been able to follow it basically since the beginning. So I know the entire history of definitely the UFC, Pride, Elite XC back in the day, Strike Force, Bulldog fight where I first saw Masvidal, Ryzen, there's ONE FC now. I mean, I got it all. I've been there. Like, my dad is old enough to basically have seen every single year of the Dallas Cowboys. They became a franchise in the 60s. So he's basically seen. He was born in the 50s, so maybe a couple of the early years he wasn't really familiar with, but for the most part, just like me, I wasn't watching the UFC in '93. I got into the UFC in the middle of high school, and I graduated like the late '90s, aging myself, homies. But we used to rent the DVDs and then go and try to do arm bars on each other in the front yard and shit, triangle chokes. And then from that point on, LimeWire days, I used to just download all the fights like a week after they would go down, because I didn't have pay-per-view or any way to fucking buy these things. And so I would watch them after the fact, and I would start doing that with Pride. I would watch Pride events. I remember one time the first Pride event I ever stayed up and watched was when there was like a very first streaming sites. When you first had these illegal streaming sites pop up, they were so hard to get to work, and they would break up all the time. They would hardly ever work. But I saw one at it was like 2 and 3 in the morning. I can't remember who the fuck it was. But I stayed up and watched a Pride fight on that. But I used to download all the Prides on LimeWire, BearShare, Napster, all that shit. But my shit was LimeWire. And if you youngsters out there don't know about LimeWire, there's nothing shadier than file sharing. Back in the day, you would try to download like the new Eminem music video or the new Eminem album, and you would click on it and it would be some fucking shit. Some shit that would get the feds knocking on your motherfucking door, but it would be labeled Eminem new single, fucking Without Me or whatever. And you click on it, it'd be some fucking Feds throwing tear gas in the motherfucking house, repelling from the roof, fucking get down on the fucking ground shit. You know what I mean? And you're like, whoa, shit, and you're fucking throwing this shit away. You get random shit, bestiality shit, random shit, in disguise as some other shit. You old heads know what I'm talking about. So you download a Pride video and you get fucking 4 hours of Mr. Hands getting fucked in his ass, you know, like the behind the scenes, the takes and shit, the shit left on the cutting room floor, you know, you getting all that shit you don't want. I have seen the original Mr. Hands video because of that shit. Oh, fucker got fucked in his ass. He got impaled in his ass. You know who Mr. Hands is? Go Google that shit. The spotter just let go. He's like, what the fuck, can't handle it no more. Fuck. You know what I mean? You don't want to go out like that. But that's how I got into all this shit. So I've literally seen, and since like UFC, it was like UFC 50, it might have been, 51, 52. It was, they had USA versus Canada. They had BJ Penn versus George St. Pierre, main event, the first time they fought. Great fight. A lot of people said BJ won. Very close fight. I thought GSP won, but since that card, I've pretty much seen every single card live. You know, I've watched them. I haven't missed a single fucking one. So that's where the fuck I come from and all this shit. I don't know why the fuck. Listen, I go on tangents. You know, I can't be stopped. Just let me go. Just let me go. Let me bang. Let me bang, bro. Just let me bang. I cleaned the cup this time. It's still, you know, filthy. I don't know if you guys noticed last week. A filthy ass cup. I drink so much coffee and I drink my shit. I want this. I want to chew this shit. I want like motor oil in this bitch. No cream, no nothing. Straight black. That's how the fuck I want that shit. And you know, it destroys the cup. So I just leave it. It's like leaving the grease on a cast iron skillet. You know, it just adds to the flavor. You know what I mean? Anyways, so Kobe, if the sucker punching shit is that, you know, it hurts me to say that because, oh yeah, that's where I was going. I've been watching Jorge since when he got caught in a flying triangle, you know, by Toby Amata back in the day. That was the submission of the year that year. That was a long time ago. For a long time when he first came to the UFC, me and my homie T-Lam, we were onto this, you know, Jorge for a long time. We're like, this is one of the best fighters in the world that's not in the UFC. He was, to me, he was like Gilbert Melendez back in the day. Alvarez before he came back in the day. Gaethje even. That type of dude. And nobody's been... Go watch some of those early Masvidal fights in the UFC, especially when he was at 155, the Al Iaquinta fight. Robberies. This motherfucker was getting robbed. Like Bobby Green gets robbed. Like Angela Hill gets robbed. You know, those are the three most robbed motherfuckers. Maybe not so much in the second half of his career when Masvidal became a, you know, bigger household name. But you know, that was dope seeing Jorge Masvidal finally in the UFC. That was big for me and the homies that have been watching him for so long. We're like, this dude can be the champ, you know, and he's had his chance. You know, he's not going to be that level now, you know. But if the sucker punching shit is true, man, fuck, you can't do that shit. You can't do that shit unless you're on some straight Cain Velasquez situation. Yeah, you can duff that motherfucker out from behind, right? If you're going out like that, for sure. There's only very few, but in this kind of situation, square up with the man if you want to scrap him. Square up with him. You can't come up there and just start swinging on a motherfucker, you know? So he's facing, you know, Kobe just to fuck with Masvidal. He don't give a fuck if you call him a bitch, what the fuck you do. He's going to press these charges. Watch him. He's facing like felony charges, Jorge. And he'll press them. Just to fuck with you, homie. Now, they were saying Leon didn't press no charges. No, Leon didn't press no charges. But they didn't have the beef like this. This is a different type of beef. This is real beef, homies. This is the real beef. And these homies used to sleep next to each other. Probably shared a motherfucking bed. They don't want to talk about that shit. You motherfuckers, you seen that apartment they were kicking it in? You know they were sharing a bed. A fucking sleeping bag or some shit. That's the only way you could be this mad, is if there was more than just we were homies going on. There's got to be some scratch the surface, get underneath this shit. There's got to be more to it. I'm just saying, listen, I'm just throwing shit out there. Conspiracy theories, homies. Follow the science. Anyways, so let me get this. I got the computer down here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we had last week. So we had Aspinall versus Volkov. Let's just get right into fight talk. That's exactly how I saw it. You know, why I didn't pick Aspinall. And it still remains. Even after this fight, I still have my questions about Aspinall because I haven't seen him in a fucking scrap. I haven't seen him have to get into the... He's gone... If you look at his 2 fights that he's lost, those were the only 2... Those were 2 out of the 3 fights in his career that went to the second round. And the second one only went like 26 seconds or some shit. It was like 30 seconds into the second round against Arlovsky. And he was starting to get pieced up in that fight. And that's what kind of gave me cause to pause on Tom Aspinall, was that second half of the first round against Andrei Arlovsky. That worried me. He was starting to get pieced up by Arlovsky. Arlovsky was landing that right hand through his guard, through that. He doesn't really commit to the full Philly shell. It's just kind of like a kind of a shoulder roll type thing. But early in the first round, you see how he is. His hand speed is unreal. It's unreal. You don't even see him throwing. I mean, these guys, every single person he fights, they don't even have time to cover up because they're not seeing the punches coming. And then you're like, oh shit, and now it's reaction. No matter how well trained a fighter you are, when you're getting hit like that, when you're not even seeing it, it's just fireworks. It's just like, you know, it's just fucking flashbangs going off in your head and you don't know where the fuck it's crazy. So he overwhelms with that speed in the first, in the first, first couple minutes, first round. And what happens when he gets to the second round and he doesn't get you out of there? What happens in the third round when he gets into these 5-round fights? Now that he's doing main event, I don't see him in anything other than main events now. What if somebody's able to get past that? We still don't know. Like, does he have the dog in him? Can he dig? What kind of cardio does this motherfucker? Does he have that hand speed in the third round? I don't know. Who can't he beat? I think he can beat anybody at heavyweight right now. But I also think, let me adjust this. I'll move this shit out of the way. I also think, like Gane. You're looking at, they got a real similar style on the feet. Gane uses a lot more kicks, switches stance more. Aspinall has the better hands, better boxing combinations. Gane's more of a 1-1-2s type of dude. Aspinall can string combinations together better, but he's more of just hands on the when it comes to fucking pop-ups and shit. When it comes to the striking, but they have that bouncy in and out kind of thing. The ground game. Listen, I would have, up until this Ngannou fight, I thought that Gane had a pretty solid game, and it turns out he has a pretty solid top game, but we don't know much about. We saw his bottom game. He had none. He couldn't get back to his feet against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou wasn't over there doing anything crazy technical. He's just using his weight and his strength to hold him down, so the techniques weren't there. That fight IQ scared me again, with Gane. Gane gets that fight. It's 2-2 going into that 5th round against Ngannou. He ends up on top position to start the 5th round. And what does he do? He goes for an ankle lock, for a fucking heel hook, and then ends up on the bottom, and then ends the fight on the bottom and loses the fuck. He literally gave the whole fucking fight away. All he had to do was maintain that position. He's the champion right now. So there's a lot of issues with Gane. I think Gane is probably the only one that Aspinall can't just overwhelm like that. I think he could do that to Stipe. Even Ngannou, I think the hand speed is too much, and he can press Ngannou up against the fence and get that takedown right away. That Kimura that he looks for against the cage, I mean, you got to be prepared for that. I thought he was going to finish Volkov with that shit. Of all the submissions and shit, the one you don't want to get caught in is a motherfucking Kimura. You can't wipe your, especially if it's your wiping hand. You try wiping. The next time you take a shit, try wiping southpaw. Go ahead, do it. You're gonna be fucking finger in your asshole. Finger's gonna be too much pressure. You're gonna fucking break through and fucking oil check your motherfucking self. It's gonna be awkward. It's not going to be efficient. You're going to end up with streaks in your motherfucking chonies. You don't want to get that shoulder injury. You ain't going to be wiping for months. You're going to have to get a bidet. You're going to have to get on Amazon. Hopefully they have, same day delivery. You're going to pay an extra, who knows how for a fucking bidet. You're going to pay an extra, $20 on top of that shit just to get it on same day so you don't miss the duty. You don't want to get caught in those Kimuras. And he's got a nasty Kimura. Motherfuckers that go... Kimuras are like guillotines to me. When it comes to guillotines are the easiest chokes to catch people in. Easiest chokes. And I think when it comes to joint manipulation, I think the fucking Kimura is always there. A guillotine is always there. It takes some skill, and some dudes are better than others, and if you have a great squeeze, then you can get away with a lot more. The same thing is with those Kimuras, especially if you're a strong dude like Tom Aspinall. My shoulders are shot to shit from years of kickboxing. I blew this one out in a sparring. Never been the same since. It's got all sorts. I need some surgery on this shit, but for over 12, 13 years now. You get this motherfucker and bend this guy back a little bit, I'm done. You get this one, you bend it, it's over. A lot of people, especially bigger dudes, they don't have much flexibility in the shoulders. So those shoulder locks are nasty. So this dude, and like we seen with Curtis Blaydes this week, another guy with a great top game but lacks submissions. He doesn't have the great submissions. If you taught Blaydes a fucking Kimura like that, if you taught Blaydes a head and arm choke, if you taught him anything, if you taught him some good submissions from the top position, he'd be so much more deadly. And this is what I got to thinking about with the Daukaus fight, which we'll get into. It's Daukaus is a black belt. Let me get back to that. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get into that. Let's recap this other one. So, Aspinall. Let's see, who else do we have? So Aspinall, very highly disappointed in Volkov. I thought Volkov would at least be able to survive into the second and third round, and I thought his striking is a little better, and you'd have to think it's better than Arlovsky's at this point, but it's not. I mean, this motherfucker came out there with that that 10 to 13 day fucking economy shipping from fucking India hand speed. I mean, this motherfucker was throwing I don't even know what to fucking say. It was sloth fucking speed. He was in straight slow-mo. I was like, what the fuck happened here? Usually Volkov's got nice, he's got short, long punches. They're long punches, but they're short because they're so straight, they get to the target quicker. There's no roundness to it. There's no, go straight to the target. And he's like, boom. He's got, he's sneaky with those punches down the pipe. And to beat Tom Aspinall, you beat him down the pipe. You beat him with that janky thing right down the pipe. When he squared up on you, beat him between the shoulders. And I thought, that would cause him some problems if Volkov could get into the later rounds, and he just fucking couldn't. He just got smoked, and right off the bat, he was right off. The first fucking 1-2 that Tom Aspinall threw, I was in here oh shit. I was secondhand slipping. I was like, oh my goodness. Covering up. Homie's throwing fucking darts. You don't see these motherfuckers coming, man. They're so fast. I was like, it's over. Right then and there. I was like, I'm taking the L on this one. I took a chance, and I couldn't even believe it. And who did I bet on? I can't remember who I bet on. I won. Oh, Paul Craig. I bet on Paul Craig. I put a 20 on Paul Craig. I told y'all. Now, I didn't pick him to win, so I was kind of right on that. Let's get into this. Let's get into this little recap real quick. I don't know if I'm going to get into the Zion shit and the swimmer shit, and I got some thoughts on that shit and some more of the Cowboy shit. We might just be all fights today, because I'm already at 33 minutes. I don't want to waste your time. Maybe we'll come back, and we can do this whenever. However, Arnold Allen, fucking Dan Hooker. I told y'all about Arnold Allen. This motherfucker, I picked him to win this fight. That left hand is just nasty. He just over and over again with it. In striking, I don't even think is his number one threat as a fighter. He's got great ground game. He's got great takedowns. I thought this fight would be. I thought it would be a lot closer. I thought it would be a decision, number one, but I thought it would come down to Arnold Allen being the guy who was going to get a takedown or two that would be able to, edge out this fight. What he did to Dan Hooker was crazy. I mean, he was just left hand after left hand. I told y'all, he didn't even bust out the head kick. He was throwing that knee. He just overwhelmed. That's the thing about, when you get overwhelmed right out the beginning like that, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. When you get stung and then they just keep coming and they just don't give you, I mean, there's not much you can do. It's just all downhill from there. You just have to hope to survive. One thing that was, Hooker just kept a rookie mistake, a white belt mistake, is just backing straight up. He's taking shots and he's just retreating back, straight back. Now, it's easy for me to say because I'm not getting blasted in the fucking head. There aren't, bombs going off in my head like they were for him. I get it. I've been there. I know how it goes. But you got to circle out. You got to make them readjust their feet. You can't just let them follow you and keep throwing left hands, keep throwing left hands. If you back up, they're just going to keep following you. That's why they say circle out, because if you circles that way, now I got to stop, adjust my feet, and re-engage. Stop, re-engage. He can't just keep, flowing punches together and shoe shine in your motherfucking face. So you got to circle out. As soon as you take that, you got to get out. Get out to the side. You can't back straight up. And he kept backing straight up and keep eating left hands, and it was just a matter of time till he crumbled, man. And I like Dan Hooker, so it was kind of rough watching him go out like that. But this dude, Arnold Allen, I was telling you, this dude's a nasty motherfucker, undercover nasty motherfucker. He looked like an actual undercover Fed. He looked like, that's how undercover this boy. He's not no more. His fucking undercover shit's blown. He ain't no Fed no more. They have to, pay him his fucking, severance pay, because he ain't sneaking up on nobody no more. So big win for him. Definitely a title challenger. Definitely a title challenger. Who do you call it? Cater. Hell of a fight. I don't know who wins that fight. Paddy Pimblett, Kazulu Vargas. Paddy Pimblett is just, I told y'all, I still, that was the exact same fight. That was, Vargas was just another Vendramini. I mean, they're almost the exact same style. It's crazy how they got the same dude to fight Paddy Pimblett. Ilia Topuria knocks a motherfucker dead. Jai Herbert out dead just minutes before that shit. Calls this dude a little blonde bitch. Calls him out in his hometown, in his own pad. Homie came up there with the muddy boots, stomped him on his motherfucking couch. Fuck your couch, you blonde bitch. I'ma fuck you up. In his own pad. He straight cucked. Let's be real, he cucked Paddy Pimblett. Smashing out his Paddy Pimblett's in the fucking corner. No recess lighting, just chilling. Fucking rubbing that taffy out. While Ilia Topuria is just fucking clapping cheeks, standing O. He straight cucked. I haven't seen a public cucking like that in a lot. He straight called him a blonde bitch. Paddy Pimblett wins his fight, and just, you saw his stand-up, homie. There's no head movement. There's no slipping. It's just eating punches. But when it came to Ilia Topuria's call, he sure was slipping and ducking real quick, wasn't he? He ducked the motherfucking shit out of that. Talking about, basically, I want to fight some more cans. That's what he was talking to me. He's on that Sugar Sean O'Malley shit. I want to fight cans using, when I get paid more. Okay, I get it. You're going to hide behind that for a little while. Okay, whatever. People will watch him fight, but listen, he's got big holes, massive holes, especially on his feet. He's got massive holes from his back, his takedown defense. He's good from the top position. If you get your back, it's over. But he's very limited skills, man. I think he's got very limited skills. He's got championship shit. Nah. Ilia Topuria would smash him. I told y'all last week. And you saw how small Ilia Topuria. I was not expecting how small Ilia Topuria was against Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert was way bigger. He's truly, Ilia Topuria is a 145er. He might even be able to make 135. Who the fuck knows? But Ilia Topuria, goes out there. Jai Herbert's putting on him in that first round. I was like, holy shit. And this was when I had just gone 2-4 on the prelim, so I'm like, oh, this fucking card's blown up in my face. Ilia Topuria is going to lose to Jai Herbert, really? And get knocked the fuck out? Oh, it's over. Throw the whole fucking, make an ass nap out of the picks. We ass napkinning the fucking picks, but he came back in that second round and did what he does. He sets it up with that liver shot. I love that combination, homie. That's my favorite combination. I do that shit when I'm out in the Thunderdome fucking hitting bags and shit. I can't remember if he threw the 1-2 liver shot and then comes over. Actually, he throws a liver shot and then comes over with the overhand. It's nasty. This is the 2 fights in a row. I think he's finished with that combination. He goes to the liver and then he comes over the top, and he lands that liver shot every fucking time, man. It's so nasty. But the key to landing the liver shot is not to lead with the liver shot. When you lead with the liver shot, you're wide open. It's a bad habit. Unless you got the hand speed. If you're really slipping, if you slip really nice into it and then come. But a lot of times you just see people reach for it like this. They just reach for it. And they're not tucking in first. They're not torquing into it. Me, jab into it. Nice. Boom. You're right into it. 1, 2. And now you're right into it. That's the best way to do. Hide the liver punch. And then always, like an uppercut. When you land that uppercut, what do? Knock the head up. Knock it down. Always follow it with a hook. Uppercut, hook. Classic combination. Liver shot, overhand. Liver shot, overhand. He's knocking motherfuckers dead. Dead. He saw that shit. Paddy saw that shit. Paddy saw that shit. You saw what, in just the opening seconds, when Kazula Vargas landed a couple shots on him, and it was like, uh-oh. What do you think? What do you think this dude's gonna do? Especially when he gets on top. Paddy Pimblett ain't gonna do that to Ilia Topuria on the ground. So, you saw Paddy Pimblett turn into Floyd Mayweather, Philly shelling real fucking quick when it came to fucking ducking that motherfucking Ilia Topuria cucking that he fucking threw at him. It was kind of embarrassing, yo. I mean, you at least gotta talk tough, right? You at least gotta pretend you want that shit and then just like duck the fuck out of it in private, behind the scenes. Hire me, Paddy. I'll tell you how to navigate through this shit. I'll be your manager, homeboy. Gunnar Nelson did what Gunnar Nelson, did he decision that? Yeah, it was a decision. That was kind of disappointing. I thought he definitely should have dominated that fight and got a submission win on that, but whatever. It's good to see Gunny back. Molly Mccann, my goodness. I slept on her. Listen, I made fun of her because I said, of that particular fight, because I said, Krylov versus fucking Paul Craig should have been on the main card. I still stand by it. Listen, I was kind of right and kind of wrong about that Paul Craig fight. I went back and forth on that shit for a long time. And I put my money, I did the win-win. I picked Krylov and I bet on, I got him at plus 160, I think. Plus 160 I got Paul Craig at. I thought a steal. I told y'all, if this fight ends, it's going to be a submission for Craig. And I thought, I didn't know if Krylov could finish Paul Craig. But actually, watching the first round, I mean, this motherfucker, Nikita Krylov, broke into a dub factory and managed to steal an L somehow. I mean, he was dominating. And I was like, oh, I'm winning this one. This is kind of what I thought Krylov could do to him, because sometimes you see this from Paul Craig. He'll take these beatings like he did against Ankalaev. But then out of nowhere, he just throws up that fucking triangle and it's a fucking wrap. Krylov, man, this dude, I know he's been subbed 5 times now, 6 times in his career, and has been susceptible to getting subbed, but he's a fucking good grappler. Go watch him fight Glover Teixeira. That you want a fucking dope fight? Go watch Nikita Krylov versus Glover Teixeira. Maybe I told you last week. Fucking dudes can grapple. Dude can grapple. He was landing some heavy ground. For a second there, for literally a second, it looked like Paul Craig was out. He was like he was like this, straight up on the mat, not even moving for like a second. And then another fist came down and it like brought him back or some shit. He was getting bombed on. And then he throws up this fucking triangle and it's over. It's fucking over. Crazy. And I'm like, fucking just dope. Made a couple bucks, not a lot. I'm a bargain gambler. I'm a fucking budget gambler. But 10s, 20s, that's it. I never bet more than 20. Usually I'll take a 20, split it, and make 2 bets. Or I'll just bet $10. I like to bet on dogs. I don't like to do the whole, does it go. Every once in a while I'll do like a decision thing. If I think, a fight might go to a decision and people are thinking it's going to, and the odds favor early finish. And I can get better money. Maybe sometimes I'll do that, but for the most part, I just bet wins, losses, and I like to bet on underdogs. I think, whoa, this dude's actually got a chance to win. And Paul Craig was like, it's like when Derek Lewis fought Daukaus. I picked Daukaus to win that fucking fight, mostly because I thought, I didn't even check the odds. I was like, he's got to be a massive underdog. And then it turned out Derek Lewis was a motherfucking underdog. I was like, take my motherfucking money. 20 I got this 20 on that shit. Easy. Derek Lewis at plus money. Anytime I'll take that shit. I don't give a fuck. So dope ass card. We got Daukaus versus Blaydes. I told y'all last week about this. I was leaning versus Blaydes. A lot of unknowns about Daukaus. The same things we don't know about Aspinall, I haven't seen this guy's ground game. I haven't seen him Daukaus defend a takedown. I haven't seen if he can get back to his feet. Simmer down, young man. Simmer down. What is he going to look like in the second, third round? I don't know. He's had one fight I've seen go into the second round against that Shamil. That homie got knocked the fuck out by Pavlovich, too. I told you about Pavlovich. So, I don't know. But he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and his brother Kyle is really good on the ground. Him and Brendan Allen, great fight. But he's a black belt. Now, I know not all black belts are created equal, not even close. But it's got to be, you got a guy, sometimes Blaydes, is just there to just get the win and get the fuck out of there. And you got a Curtis Blaydes that sometimes shows up and can just destroy you with elbows from the top and smash you. He's got all the ability to smash the fuck out of you from the top position, but he doesn't have subs. He doesn't really go for submissions. I think if Daukaus gets taken down, especially early, he can survive, get back to his feet maybe, at least not get, pounded out. And then on the feet, I'm thinking, man, he's going to have a speed advantage. He's going to have the output advantage on him. If he can just stay on his feet a little bit, he's got a good chance. And he's plus like 250, 240, something like that right now. As far as the bets go, I'm definitely putting the fucking $10 on fucking Daukaus. That's got to be maybe even a 20, maybe even the 20, the full 20. The full Andy Jackson. We put the whole Andy Jackson on that shit. Motherfuck, maybe. At plus 240, plus 250, wherever you're sitting at, that's you turn a Jackson into a Grant, just like that. That's that range right there, that plus 260, plus 250 range. You put a fucking Jackson on the table, you walk away with a fucking Ulysses S. Grant. That's how you do it, turning Jacksons into Grants. That's always that. I love that plus 250. Plus, simmer down, young man. Shh. You over here singing Thomas the Train, my man. Oh, you got the little man there. You over here cussing like it is what it is. This is real life. I won't hide this shit. You're gonna see this in real life, man. You teach them how to use words, not be afraid of them. You know what I mean? But that plus 260, 50, 240 range, that's a fucking golden range, because you can get in that range. There's a lot of fighters that have real solid chances to win, and you could turn 20 into a 50 real fucking quick in around that range. So that's how I fucking go with it. So I'm gonna switch my pick on this. I've kind of last week I said Blaydes TKO round 4, something like that, and I put it on wax. I'm taking it off wax. Now we busting out the Yankee candles and the fucking Bic lighter. We putting it on wax now. I'm going with Daukaus TKO. Round 2, round 3. Let's go 2. It's got to be early, because I don't know if he can go into the third round. So good little fight. Two back-to-back heavyweights. They like these heavyweights main events. We'll see if Daukaus is real. This dude left his fucking job, right? He left his job as a police officer. You can't lose 2 in a row. He went 4-0. He's thinking shit sweet, fucking tasting golden. Nah, homie, shit's kind of actually bitter. That's what Derek Lewis showed him. And 2 L's in a row after you quit your motherfucking day job? Nah, we can't do that, son. We can't do that. You got to come out here. You got to crack this motherfucker's ass like the Liberty Bell. Philly native. You got to come out here. The pressure's on Chris Daukaus, I think, just from, if I was him, I can't lose 2 fights. I thought this was maybe a little too much for him also, because Blaydes has won 5 out of 6. This dude's no scrub. And he was dominating that first round against Derek Lewis. He was boxing him up. You're like, holy shit. And then he got lazy with his takedown. And that's what worries me about this one. He comes out in the second round, bends over at the waist and tries to grab, some lazy-ass fucking takedown, and he gets fucking obliterated with an uppercut. Yuan Wood versus Alexa Grasso. This should be Grasso all day, all motherfucking night. crispy fucking hands, some of the best boxing in women's MMA. She's susceptible to, she's only lost to wrestlers, really good grapplers, Carla Esparza, Tatiana Suarez, Felice Herrig back in the day. She was a tough little wrestler. I think that's her only 3 losses in the UFC. I can't remember. Listen, but she loses to grapplers. Joanne Woods isn't going to out-grapple her, isn't going to take her to the ground. Hand for hand, those dainty little Joanne Woods punches and little snap kicks aren't going to get it done. I think Alexa Grasso, now this is one of those ones, this is late. I think, you know, you could get a late TKO. It's probably a lot of money. I think you can get that good, solid plus money on that. I think they're favoring a decision, which is most likely, but I think you might be able to pull off Alexa Grasso a late TKO. Give me Alexa Grasso. Give me a decision, though. Matt Brown, Barberena, who the fuck knows? Flip a coin on this one. This is a dope, you know, just an old school scrap. 2 veterans. I mean, combined, they have over like 40 UFC fights. Matt Brown, this is like his 28th, 29th fight. Barberena, I think this is 14th, 15th fight, 14th fight, I think. This is a toss-up. I have no fucking dude. I'll say, you know, Matt Brown's chin is a little suspect nowadays. His hand speed is diminished greatly. But Barberena, you know, he's a very hittable guy, but I think he's a little more fluid with his punches. Still has a little more pop on his punches. He's quicker. Nasty with that inside calf kick. That inside calf kick is a motherfucker. Throwing it from the southpaw stance against an orthodox fighter. It's rare to see that inside low calf kick because that's shin to shin waiting to happen. You look at your shin bone, feel your shin bone. It's angled inwards a little bit like this. So when you throw that inside leg, that's why you don't see it very often. You got a more chance of landing shin to shin and fucking your own self up. In fact, what's his name? Jim Miller. When he's like, a lot of people credit him as being one of the first people in the UFC to throw the low calf kick. And I think he was throwing the low inside calf kick, and he said he fucked up his own leg and never threw him again. Because he fucked his own shit up. That's what happens. That's why back in the day, we didn't even fuck with those low calf kicks. You went too low. That you were like instructed not to throw that low because you would fuck your own shit up. But now it's the greatest thing ever. But I'm just gonna give Barberena a slight advantage on this one. Hand speed overall. Simmer down, youngster. Talking PJ Masks over there, dude. I got the PJ Masks on for him right now. He sees the little wolfies, starts howling and shit. I'm almost done, dude. I'm almost done. We do this shit live. You know, life doesn't stop for nobody. Give me Barberena decision. Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara France. Give me Askar Askarov. Give me a decision, maybe a late choke. Kai Kara France, you know, big, massive underdog. I mean, he has the hand speed. He has, you know, the combination. He has the power at this weight class. You know, you saw what he did to Cody Garbrandt. That Bontarine fight kind of worried me a little bit. He got his back taken. He got taken down early in that fight. And, you know, but actually he survived. And Bontarine's got excellent ground game, especially when he has the back. And France was able to survive that and then blasted him out of there. So he definitely has that, but Askarov is this dude's like world champion, you know, caliber. Like you could make an argument that he should be fighting for the title next. He just doesn't fight enough. He's only had 4 fights in the UFC, 3-0-1. He had a draw his debut against Moreno. They just announced Davidson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno 4. I can go with it. I mean, you know, a draw and then each took one. Yeah, you got to do this. Close fight in the last one too. I thought Figueiredo did win that fight though. Give me Askarov though. This dude, you know, he's got those Umar Nurmagomedov teep kicks. He's a right-handed southpaw, predominantly right hand. When he switches to his orthodox stance, you know he's throwing a right hand. You know he's throwing a right round kick. Very, very good with his right hand. Sleeper striking. He doesn't have fluid combination striking. He's 1-2 striker. But he's looking for that takedown. If he gets Kai Kara France on the ground, you know, Kara France could do enough to survive, but he's going to get dominated in top control, I think. Give me a decision. Maybe late rear naked choke for Askarov, maybe in like round 3. Ilir Latifi versus Alexei Oleinik. Oleinik's a Missy Elliott 1 minute man. He's in the fucking video. He's got to be. I mean, this motherfucker, he's got 1 minute of fucking fury to get that fucking Ezekiel choke. If you don't get it, it's over. Give me Ilir Latifi TKO round 2. Mark Diakasey versus Vyacheslav Borshev. This dude's a little nasty motherfucker. Body shots like a motherfucker. Heavy output. I think this is only his second UFC fight. He's coming from the Contender Series. Overwhelms people. Got into some shady shit in his first fight. Looked like he might get finished early and then came back. Mark DeCasey's got, he's like a lot like Hakeem Dawodu, I think. That kind of style. Fast, long striking, but ones, 1-2s. Not really more of a combination striker. Good kicks. Kickboxing mostly. This is going to come down to output, I think. I think this is a good fight for Vyashalev to see what he's got. I don't think he can fit. Can he? Look, Mark DeCasey late at plus 140. If he can survive in the third round, I think he's going to have a real good chance to come back and win the fight late. But give me Borshev. Maybe win rounds 1 and 2 and hold on late. Give me a decision. Borshev. This name's fucking killing me, man. What do you want from me? Neil Magny versus Max Griffin. I mean, these dudes are the same fucking dude. These are the same motherfuckers. You ain't fooling me with this shit. This is like, you and your homie both select Scorpion playing Mortal Kombat. One of you's the orange Scorpion, one's the yellow Scorpion. This is a red Scorpion versus yellow Scorpion. They're the same dude. They got like the same dimensions. I don't know that for a fact. It just looks like it. I don't know the actual measurements. Long kickboxers, very similar styles on the feet. Solid grapplers, especially from the top position. Not so much from the bottom position. You saw Neil Magny get dominated by Neil Magny. Decision. Give me Neil Magny decision. I think he can do just enough. Man, he knocked this camera off again. Sarah Mcmahon versus Carol Rosa. Mcmahon, I thought she was championship material back in the day. I thought she was going to be one of the first. I can't remember if she fought Ronda Rousey before. I think she did before. Fuck it, I forget all their names. I'm high. The girl that got thrown over on her head in 13 seconds from San Diego. You know what I mean? I thought she was for sure going to win. I just saw her. She was going to fight in Bellator. But her fight, again, got canceled. Anyways, Sarah McMahon's probably one of those people who could have been a champion but just never got it put together. Olympic wrestler type of person that just never put it all together in the UFC. Give me Carol Rosa decision. Chris Gutierrez, Dana Badagarel. Don't miss this fight. This is going to be a sick-ass little stand-up fight. Badagarel's a nasty motherfucker. Undercover, nasty motherfucker. Gutierrez, nasty with the leg kicks. Doesn't let his hands go enough. He can be outworked. That's what worries me about him, is his output. His output gets him into trouble. He finds himself losing rounds that he really shouldn't be losing. If he was just a little more active, he'd win. Give me denied. Is he plus? No, they got denied. Listen, he's a favorite. Okay. They're not sleeping on Dana Badagarel. Give me him decision. Aliashab Kishared versus Abdus Magomedov. I forget who who his original opponent was. And we have Abus Magomedov. I haven't seen him fight. I forget, So give me Aliashab. I don't know. I'm just going, fucking TKO round 2. I haven't seen the other guy fight. I'm picking blind on this shit. I'm picking Stevie Wonder on this one. Jennifer Maia versus Manon Fiora. I think Manon Fiora's a bad motherfucker. I think she's championship material. She's a Holly Holm, Michelle Watterson mix. Crazy hand speed. Karate kind of style. Got trip takedowns. I don't know what she looks like from her back. Jennifer Maia's gonna have to get this fight to the ground. She's okay kickboxer, decent kickboxer. Par for the course kickboxer, but she don't want to stand with Manon Fiora. I think that she's tough enough to get to the decision, though. Give me Manon Fiora decision. Matthias Nicolau versus David Viorak. This is a nice little scrap right here. Nice little kickboxing scrap right here. Give me Dvorak decision. Luis Saldana versus Bruno Salza. This is a dope little fight. I'm going to go with Luis Saldana. Give me a decision. This dude Bruno Salza's kind of got a weird style, but Luis Saldana, he slows down. He comes out, he looks like he's picking, he's sticking and moving. He looks slick as hell from the outside with long kicks and strikes, and then all of a sudden he slows down. I think he lost his last fight. Give me Luis Saldana, give me a decision on that shit. So there you have it. I was gonna go into more NFL free agency. Maybe I'll come back early next week and lay some of this shit down. No, Randy Gregory. I got some more. I got round 2 for Gregory. I got round 2. Zion's out here doing dunks and after saying that he's not going to play. I told y'all, if you go back into the podcast, it's on wax. I told y'all early on in the year that Zion wasn't going to play. I told y'all that. So now they're saying, would they should have drafted Ja Morant. And it's easy to say that now, right? When Zion was playing, though, last year, 61% field goal percentage because he's dunking all the goddamn time, averaging like 28, 29 points a game. He's a motherfucker. When he's in there, I take him. When he's actually playing and at his best, I take him over Morant. Obviously, he doesn't play enough. He's missed over 150-some games already, missed all of this year. Obviously, I would rather have Morant when that's the case. But hopefully, we're praying that hopefully he re-signs and he becomes like an Embiid. Remember, Embiid's first 3 years, he didn't play very much. He had all sorts of issues. I think he had foot issues, knee issues. He had all sorts of problems. He barely played. And then he got on that court and he figured it out. And maybe it was him just taking shit more seriously. I don't know. Maybe that's what Zion needs to do. But he came out and he was doing a between the legs dunk off of the glass yesterday. And I was like, okay, well, get this motherfucker in shape. Make sure he doesn't miss a single game. Make sure he's ready to go day 1 next year. But what can I say? Yeah, at this point, would I take, knowing what I know right now, yeah, I probably would take Ja Morant for sure. And even when it came down to those last 2, I was fine when those last 2 little golf balls, little balls were bunching around in that lotto machine. I couldn't believe the Pelicans were still there. So I was like, we're getting Ja Morant because there's no way we're going to end up with Zion Williamson. No fucking way do I got that kind of luck. Because it happened to us when we had AD. That's how we got AD. I was like, we're not going to have that twice in a lifetime. And I was like, Ja Morant, I'm fine with that. I thought that was a 2-man draft. I thought those were the only 2 motherfuckers worth of goddamn that were like life-changing in that draft. I can't remember who was in that draft. I have to go back and look. We ended up with Zion. And, I'm not giving up on Zion. This isn't me giving up on Zion. If he gets out there, hopefully he re-signs and wants to be a part of this shit. Because C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Valanciunas, come on, man. Jackson Hayes is a little motherfucker. I mean, they got some good role players. I mean, this is a solid little team. They just got to learn how to win down the stretch, man. They just blew one to the Hawks the other night that would have put them in the 9th seed. So that's it. Hey, listen, I got to get the fuck up out of here. This is the Whiskey Sick Podcast, episode number 153. Triple Champ, me and him gonna go hit some pads right now. He's fucking wilding out. He needs to fucking go handle some business. So I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Hopefully I'll see y'all next week. There's no fight, so maybe I'll just come on here and do some miscellaneous shit talking. Maybe maybe we do a bro politics cast for y'all, and you can get a little taste of that shit. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Whiskey Sick Podcast, episode number 153, all up in your ass. Seth Gecko, a.k.a. Moody Motherfucking Hey, and I'm out, motherfucker. Ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow.